From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Thursday, October 8th, right now on Good Morning Indiana.
If you have an extra seat at your table and a safe place to sleep, that's all you need to have.
With families struggling during the pandemic, a local organization is stepping up to help. Working for you, our Kelsey Anderson shows us how you can get involved. A proposal to increase IMPD's budget is now moving forward. The frustrations expressed by some as it heads to a final vote. Scam calls, making it much harder for contact tracers to notify people exposed to COVID-19. What one organization is doing now to make sure you answer the call when that phone rings. And a new study reveals the Black community is having a tougher time rebounding from this pandemic. We look into the reasons why and what's being done to help.
Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday, October the 8th. As you can see, he is back, rested and relaxed. If there was a studio audience, he'd get an applause for his return and also for his great forecast. Good morning, Todd.
Thank you, Raphael. Good to be back with you after enjoyed a few days off, although when the alarm clock went off this morning, I'm not going to lie, it was a little rough after sleeping in a fast few days. 45 in Peru, 53 in Indy right now, 50 in Bloomington. The skies are completely clear. It's really a quiet morning for us and a very comfortable morning. These temperatures are very seasonable for this time of year. Just grab the light jacket as you walk out the door and you should be in good shape. Satellite radar picture really quiet and will expand out, and there's really nothing to show you. You see a few clouds here streaming into southern Missouri, and that is just about it. Otherwise, we are going to enjoy sunshine from start to finish throughout the day today. So it's a bright day for us. It's not as windy as yesterday. That is the good news for us. We're in the 50s through 10 a.m., 60s through the noon hour, and then temperatures eventually this afternoon will be topping off above normal in the mid to upper 70s.
Let's take a look at your traffic this morning. As you can see, a good morning this to Greencastle, Zionsville, and Pendleton. This is a live look at I-70 east of Mount Comfort Road. There's a traffic construction in this area, but as you can see, it's not having any major impacts at this point in the day, but keep that in mind as you head out this morning. The time now is 6:03. Many families, as you know, are struggling to make ends meet, struggling to put food on the table for themselves, for their children. This morning, WRTV's Kelsey Anderson joins us live with how you can help those Hoosier families in need. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So whether you are someone who is struggling right now, struggling to find childcare for your children, or struggling to put food on the table, or if you're someone who just has it on your heart to help keep families together, then Safe Families for Children is something for you to look into. So Safe Families for Children is an organization that works to keep children safe and families intact. Through host families, family friends, and family coaches, they host children and provide a network of support to families in crisis while they get back on their feet. Corey and Lauren Schneider have hosted 2-year-old Gabby this summer while her mom dealt with a difficult pregnancy.
Gabby's mom did not choose to have a rough pregnancy, and she did not choose to be high risk, and she didn't choose to give birth early. You know, she didn't choose to give birth 5 weeks early and then have her son deal with his oxygen levels going up and down. So, you know, we've been here, and we need other families who want to provide that love and that care. It's been really great to see.
Schneider says when you are a host family, a child could be with you for one day to several months. If hosting isn't something you can do, she says there are other ways to help, whether it be cooking meals, babysitting, monetary donations, or being a life coach. Now, Gabby is back with her mother and her new baby brother now that they're out of the hospital, but Safe Families for Children is still in need of volunteers. So if it's something that you're interested in or a service that you need, you can head over to WRTV.com for more information. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
That is a call to action to help. Kelsey, thank you so much. The time now is 6:05, and now to the latest on the increase of COVID-19 numbers across our state. Indiana has now recorded 3,500 deaths from the virus. The State Department of Health reported 17 new deaths on Wednesday. More than 1,300 new cases were also confirmed, bringing the state's total number of cases to 128,227. More than 1.4 million Hoosiers have been tested for the virus so far. 8.9% of those have come back positive. Governor Eric Holcomb and State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Box responded to the increase in cases in a social media update. The governor calling on residents to remain vigilant as gatherings continue to cause outbreaks across our state.
It doesn't matter what community or how small or large an event or the venue, could be a funeral, could be a wedding, could be a football game. And this is both anecdotal and through our tracing, we just see that the odds of this virus spreading go up when you let your guard down.
Holcomb also addressed giving more financial aid to small businesses. He says they're going to work with the federal government to make sure they can give money to local governments to then distribute to small businesses in their communities. The time now is 6:06, and we reached out to the governor's challengers, Democrat Dr. Woody Myers and the Libertarian Donald Rainwater, about COVID-19 in our state. Rainwater's campaign plans to share a full response later this morning. But in the past, he has criticized the governor, saying he thinks the governor overstepped his bounds with stay-at-home orders and the mask mandate. Dr. Myers, however, feels the opposite. Myers does not think the governor went far enough, saying this to WRTV.
Moving us to stage 5 was wrong. We need to reverse that step, and we need to protect Hoosiers.
You can watch the whole conversation with Dr. Myers right now on our website at WRTV.com. The country's COVID-19 response was a key topic at last night's vice presidential debate. Vice President Mike Pence and Democratic VP nominee Kamala Harris both expressing their views on how the Trump administration has handled this pandemic.
The president said it was a hoax. They minimized the seriousness of it. They still don't have a plan. Well, Joe Biden does. And our plan is about what we need to do around a national strategy for contact tracing, for testing, for administration of the vaccine, and making sure that it will be free for all.
President Trump and I trust the American people to make choices in the best interest of their health. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris consistently talk about mandates, and not just mandates with the coronavirus, but a government takeover of health care.
Thank you.
We're about freedom and respecting the freedom of the American people.
Pence and Harris also clashed over their policies on police reform, climate change, and the economy. You can watch the full debate right now on our website, WRTV.com. And if you have more questions ahead of the November election, you can find answers in the Vote in 2020 digital section of our website, WRTV.com. That includes profiles on the candidates, poll location information, and much, much more. When you go to your phone and you hear it go off and see an unknown number, you're not likely to answer that if you don't know the number. But that habit is creating some issues for contact tracers. Those are the workers hired to get in touch with people who have been around someone diagnosed with COVID-19. But when people don't answer calls from contact tracers controlling the virus, it really becomes much more difficult. But it doesn't mean contact tracers are giving up.
In cases when contact tracers call someone and that person is uncomfortable talking to them on the phone, in some counties, they will actually send someone to that person's home to conduct an in-person interview if they are more comfortable doing that.
Even when contact tracers do manage to get someone on the phone, it can be difficult to get information from them. Contrace is one of the companies helping with contact tracing efforts. The group is now encouraging every state and local government to try and work with phone providers to identify their phone call on caller ID as coming from the health department or a contact tracing program. Researchers in Arizona are now on the forefront of developing a vaccine for COVID-19. Coming up, an inside look at their process and their progress. And Hurricane Delta strengthening as it moves up the Gulf Coast. The aftermath it left behind in Mexico and the preparations now underway along the Gulf Coast. But first at 6:10, let's check in on your local forecast with our Todd Clausen. Todd, good morning.
Raphael, good morning to you. It's going to be a beautiful day for us once again across central Indiana. If you're heading to look at some of the foliage, not only today, but as we work our way into the weekend and the coming days, we get to peak foliage in northern Indiana here in the next couple days. It's more later in October, but we'll talk about the forecast if you are heading out this weekend coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Most experts agree that we'll have to keep wearing masks in many places until there's a coronavirus vaccine. Scripps correspondent Dan Grossman met with researchers developing a vaccine to learn more about their progress.
The contents of this lab in Tempe, Arizona are so dangerous, so critical.
Everyone is coming in blind to this. This is a novel virus. It's not something we've seen before.
The only way we can speak to Assistant Professor Ephraim Lim is through Zoom, even though he's only a few doors away.
One of the things we're still keeping an eye on is on the evolution of this virus, because that virus is still around in our community.
In March, that community at Arizona State University played host to our country's fourth COVID-19 case. As soon as it was detected, Dr. Lim started studying how the virus mutates and sent his findings to the World Health Organization, something that still continues to this day.
This virus overall mutates pretty slowly, which is a good thing. However, we can have instances where the virus can have very large dramatic mutations, such as deletions in the genomes.
Like all living cells, as viruses evolve, their chemical makeup changes. In viruses like the flu, that happens frequently, which is why every year there's a new vaccine to treat whatever strain is expected to circulate. With COVID-19, Dr. Lim found those mutations happen slower.
Overall, the virus still seems to be pretty stable.
Which is great for scientists like Dr. Brenda Hogue, who has been one of the country's leading virologists tasked with developing a vaccine.
It is very good news that the virus is not changing rapidly, and especially in the region of the virus or the protein that is the primary target, the spike protein, for vaccine development.
The spike proteins are those long stalks that make COVID-19 so recognizable. It's how the virus binds to our cells and infects them. The current vaccine being developed focuses on disrupting that process, but that could change if the virus adapts once a vaccine is introduced.
We will have to see over time, as the virus continues to circulate, as we put a vaccine into play, whether or not there will be any issues.
Precisely what Dr. Lim's lab will continue to work on, so when a vaccine does come out, it works to its fullest capacity.
We are still in a very good window of whatever that we are designing, and all the things that are in the pipeline right now should be able to be really effective.
In Tempe, Arizona, I'm Dan Grossman reporting.
The time now is 6:16 and Hurricane Delta strengthening to a Category 2 storm after hitting Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. Strong winds tore apart buildings in Cancun, also causing some flooding. Luckily, no deaths have been reported there so far. Delta is now making its way toward the United States. Experts predict a life-threatening storm surge along the northern Gulf Coast starting on Friday. This morning, warnings are now being issued for parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. And Todd, you are tracking the storm, and possibly we may see some effects of this maybe later in the weekend?
Yeah, I think definitely Saturday we see some cloud cover from it. The rainfall is going to be a real sharp cutoff, but I do think some showers could sneak into southern portions of central Indiana as we work our way into the weekend. Here's where it stands right now, and you see some of the rainfall already making its way into the U.S. mainland. There is more rain. The radar beams just can't get from land that far out into the Gulf. That's why we just have the satellite picture there. But there's quite a bit of rainfall with this system. Here it goes. It's going to make its way basically into the Houston area and then kind of turn off towards the northeast coming into Louisiana. Here's the timestamp. This is late tonight, early tomorrow, and then throughout the day on Friday. So it's going to make landfall tomorrow. And then eventually it's going to start to lift further to the north again, potentially bringing us some cloud cover and maybe a few showers as we work our way into Saturday evening. Otherwise, your weather headlines are average high 68 yesterday, all the way up to 84. Today, we are into the mid-70s across the area. So the warm temperatures continue with sunshine and only really some small rain chances going forward in this forecast. Outside right now, crystal clear skies. Really a beautiful morning with temperatures that are in the 40s and 50s. You'll need to grab the jacket this morning. 50 in Bloomington, 45 in Tipton, 43 is the current temperature in Richmond. And as we work our way throughout the next couple hours this morning, temperatures are going to hold pretty steady through through 8 a.m. And then we're going to see these temperatures start to climb very quickly once the sun does come up. By the noon hour, we should be looking at temperatures just shy of 70 degrees, and then we're into the 70s later on this afternoon. Your satellite radar picture is completely quiet, and as we expand out, high pressure is firmly in control. So as this high has slid right on top of us, that's what's helped to calm the winds down across the area. TrueCast shows just a few fair weather clouds that'll start to build in as we work our way into the afternoon and evening hours across southern locations. Otherwise, skies will be mainly clear heading into your Friday. Highs today, not quite as warm as yesterday, but still above normal. 72 in Marion, 75 in Anderson, 80 today in Martinsville as well as Rockville. Shelbyville, 78 degrees. Highs around 80 from Bloomington to Bedford over into the Spencer area. Then this evening, temperatures will cool off into the 60s under a partly cloudy sky. And for the day tomorrow, we're looking at temperatures back up to right around 80 to 81 degrees. It's a warm Friday for us. High school football games should be in great shape. Maybe even a little warm for football outside Friday evening. And then as we head into Saturday, there's that 20% chance of some showers to the south. Otherwise, better shower chances to the forecast on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Raphael.
And Todd, that's looking good, but this is not our first major issue of the morning. This is a live look at I-465 at Michigan Road. You can see the flashing lights there on the screen. We're told a vehicle fire is blocking the right eastbound lanes of 465 in this area. So keep that in mind as you head out this morning. Again, this is on the city's northwest side at I-465 at Michigan Road. We'll keep on top of this developing story throughout the morning. The time now is 6:19. A new charter school is now opening in Indianapolis. The school is called Believe Circle City High School. It's on Capitol Avenue near Fall Creek on the city's north side. Its educational model focuses on early college and career readiness. Every student is expected to graduate with an industry certification or an associate's degree. The goal is to give students a head start no matter what path they choose.
The community had a big demand for it. Indianapolis has a lot of gaps in workforce development roles, and we knew that we could fill that gap. And we also have a lot of students who college may not be for them. So we want to make sure that regardless of what you're interested in, we have something for everybody. The other piece on the college side is that we have a lot of gifted students in our city who are not necessarily getting what they need. So our gifted students are in an accelerated path so that we can knock off at least a year of college for them.
Good luck to them. The school's partnerships include Ivy Tech, Kenzie Academy, and Marion University. The next enrollment window starts on the 30th. It's our mission here at WRTV to, of course, through Hiring Hoosiers, to connect you every single day to jobs and training programs. So this morning, here is your job feed. Hiring Hoosiers partner Spherion needs warehouse associates and forklift operators to begin work immediately in Franklin in Johnson County. The pay ranges from $13.75 to $15.50 an hour. You must be able to lift up to 50 pounds and be on your feet for 8 hours. The Biomat USA Plasma Center on Capitol Avenue here in Indianapolis needs reliable people to join their team. The company is also offering benefits. And Indiana Mentor is a home and community-based human services provider. They're seeking direct support professionals who would like to provide care and support to individuals with disabilities. You can learn more about these open positions and much more by reading their posts on the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. The vice presidential debate featured an unwanted guest. Did you see this? And of course, the internet lost it. Coming up in Trending at 6, the funny reaction to this buggy distraction. And now let's head outside one more time. A big good morning to Danville, Shelbyville, and Mooresville, all great places to call home. The time now is 6:21. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV. The time now is 6:24. We're keeping an eye on this. This is already a very busy part of the commute area every morning here in the Indianapolis area. This is I-465 at North Michigan Road. Police responding to a vehicle fire now blocking the right eastbound lanes of 465 in this area. As you can see, traffic is moving rather slowly, but this is already a congested part of the morning commute anyway. We'll keep watching this throughout the next few minutes, and of course, we'll give you the very latest on the RTV6 app and of course right here on Good Morning Indiana. During last night's debate, social media became particularly entertained by a third participant in this event. Did you see this? A fly. The bug landed on Vice President Mike Pence's head while he was answering a question about racial injustice. It stayed there for about 2 minutes or so. Twitter users joked about the fly, saying it was distracting. Others said it needed to be tested for COVID-19. Even Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden got in on the fun, using the bug as a fundraising opportunity. Also trending at 6 this morning, NASCAR driver Eric Jones will be driving a new car and teaming up with Craftsman and Ace Hardware to support the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Jones is also honoring 4 kids from Atrium Children's Hospital as Joe Gibbs team members. The kids get to experience virtual race day events and have their cardboard cutouts in Jones's pit during this weekend's Charlotte NASCAR race. Those guys always doing some good stuff. And congratulations this morning to Connie Wetzel. Connie is our hometown hero on this Thursday. Todd, she is marking her 40th year involved in law enforcement. She's the office manager for the Pendleton Police Department. She started her career at the Madison County Sheriff's Office in June of 1980. Congratulations to her and to all of you doing your personal best every day in our state. We should get her a cake and some flowers and just drive up to Pendleton. What do you say?
Yeah, just right up I-69 there. We'll drop them off, go to Falls Park afterwards.
That's beautiful.
It's a beautiful place there.
Beautiful place.
You can have a little lunch there by the stream and waterfall.
I'll pay. Listen, I've offered you for weeks now takeout Tuesday. This will be takeout Thursday.
Any day's takeout day for me there, Raphael. All right, outside right now. We're talking about temperatures in the 70s and 80s for afternoon highs. Obviously a little cooler this morning. We're in the 40s and 50s. But lots of sunshine today. Warm conditions. 80 in Bloomington, 76 in Indy. A little cooler to the north. But our average high this time of year is 68 degrees. So we will be staying above that number all the way into next week. So we're in a nice mild and warm stretch of weather depending on the day and time. I think you get into the 80s, which we have the potential to do tomorrow and Saturday. We'll consider that warm this time of year. And then as we work our way into Sunday and Monday, you notice that little dip there, a little more in the way of cloud cover. Some rain chances enter the forecast for the second half of the weekend. More on that, Raphael, coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you so much. Santa Claus will be practicing some social distancing at malls this year. Brookfield Property says there will be no sitting on Santa's lap at their malls. They own the Glenbrook Mall in Fort Wayne. Brookfield says their decision is all about ensuring safety for their customers. Santa will be required to wear a mask and offer some virtual visits. Now, Simon Mall Properties says their Santas will also be at the malls this year, but they did not offer any details. The pandemic may also impact your choice of Thanksgiving turkeys. Grocery stores are offering smaller birds this year since people will less likely to gather around the dinner table. Walmart says it will offer more boneless and bone-in turkey breasts. Retailers and distributors are also buying much more hens, which are smaller than the male birds. Even though the turkeys may be smaller, experts still think that about 40 million turkeys nationwide will be eaten for the holiday. And while you're shopping, it might be hard to find those mason jars. The pandemic has caused more people to spend time growing and preserving their own food, leading to a surge in home canning and a shortage of mason jars and lids. And there is limited availability right now at stores and online. Ball brand jars have seen an unprecedented demand and are working with additional manufacturers to increase their production.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday morning, here is your 6:30 news feed. A federal judge has stayed an earlier ruling to extend Indiana's absentee deadline. Last week, they ruled that mail ballots must be accepted as long as they're postmarked by Election Day. The federal judge's ruling on Wednesday means Indiana's election offices can only accept ballots up until noon on Election Day. This morning, Vermilion County Sheriff's officials are looking for answers in a deadly hit and run. Deputies say a pedestrian was hit and killed on I-74 eastbound near the Covington exit. Police say the person was hit between 9 and 10 o'clock Wednesday night. If you have any information about what happened, you're asked to call the Vermilion County Sheriff's Office. A former Indianapolis Mayor Bart Peterson has returned to a job he left in May. Peterson is rejoining Crystal House International as president and chief executive officer. The former mayor of Indianapolis also served as a vice president at Eli Lilly and Company. Crystal House has schools across the world aiming to lift children out of poverty through education. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday, October the 8th. I'm Rafael Sanchez. Our good friend Lauren Casey, I hope, is sleeping in, but if you're awake, good morning to you, and good morning to Archie, because I'm sure she's up with Archie, because Archie's very active. And not an active day in our forecast, but a beautiful day. You would think it's spring, Todd Clausen, but it really is fall.
Yeah, you know, temperatures today are going to be above normal. In some areas, Raphael, getting 10 degrees above normal. Great weather to walk through the neighborhood, check out the changing leaves across the area. So what do you need to grab before you go as you walk out the door this morning? Well, you'll probably need the light to medium weight jacket, as many of you are in the 40s, still in the 50s here in the metro area. And then definitely have the sunglasses. You'll need those from start to finish. The umbrella, once again, you can leave that tucked away in the closet. You'll not need that. Potentially until maybe late Saturday, early Sunday. That's the next chance of rain in this forecast. 53 in Indy, 56 in Bloomington, to the north a little bit cooler. Kokomo at 44 degrees, 47 in Muncie with the clear skies no matter where you are here this morning. And as we expand out, there is really not much to show you. The only radar returns here are in the UP of Michigan, and that will not impact us whatsoever here throughout the day today. So it's a mostly sunny day for us here throughout this Thursday. 68 degrees by the noon hour. High temperatures today will be in the mid-70s. Get out there and enjoy. We're actually warmer heading into your weekend. More on that coming up in just a few minutes, Raphael.
Todd, we are following a developing situation in our traffic report this morning yet again, and we're going to take you back out to the city's northwest side. This is I-465 and North Michigan Road. There is a vehicle fire, and because of that, it is causing some backups, as you can see there. So if you're heading out into this area, which normally is already congested by this time at 6:30 in the morning in Indianapolis, keep in mind of what's happening there at I-465 and North Michigan Road. We'll keep an eye on this throughout the morning. A proposal to increase Metro Police's budget is now headed for a final vote in the City County Council. The Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee approved the plan last night. Now, last month, the city requested an extra $7.7 million in funding. They say that money will be used to hire more officers, add body cameras, and be used for other equipment as well as legal settlements. Now, several citizens who attended the meeting expressed frustration and anger after the committee's decision.
Squandering the money they already have. So defund the police and reallocate that money to the communities that actually need it.
A 4th District Councilor, Ethan Evans, says he agrees that it's important to dedicate resources to the community.
Well, I'm all for expanding, the additional ways to get more mental health care in the community, get more rapid response for, mental health, people in mental health crises in the community. I just feel that, we should be, finding alternative ways to do it that might not include having public safety officers in those runs all the time.
The committee also heard from the police department about IMPD and the Health and Hospital Corporation's team. That team's goal is to provide enhanced training, resources, and improve responses to situations involving behavioral health issues. The full council will vote on the proposal this upcoming Monday. Meanwhile, IMPD is testing a new neighborhood app. The app is called Relay. It's designed for non-emergency situations. You can report things like suspicious activity as well as vandalism. There's also an option to upload pictures and videos. Officers are then able to respond to messages in real time. The program is currently being piloted on the city's North District. IMPD says the Relay app does not take the place of 911 or 311. The time now is 6:33. Turning now to the pandemic and its impact on our state. State health officials now confirming 1,302 new COVID-19 cases since the pandemic began. More than 128,000 Hoosiers have tested positive. Health officials also confirmed 17 new coronavirus deaths. Since March, 3,500 Hoosiers have died with the virus. On Wednesday, state health officials updated county metric data. Pike County in southwest Indiana is the only county listed in the red category. Health officials say a large number of cases have been linked to a group setting. Warwick, and Henry County also have alerts, though they remain in the orange category. Indianapolis firefighters are looking for answers into a fire damaging a railroad bridge. Investigators say someone intentionally set fire to the timber rail bridge on Tuesday evening. The bridge sits on Troy Avenue and Bluff Roads. Firefighters say the flames caused more than $600,000 in damage, as you can see. Metro Police and the ATF are investigating. If you have any information on what happened in this case, you're being asked to call Crime Stoppers. The pandemic continues to impact families across the Hoosier State. Coming up, our Kelsey Anderson looks at one organization providing help for families who need it today and every single day. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday, October the 8th. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time now is 6:38. Many families right now are struggling to make ends meet and struggling to put food on the table for themselves and their children. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson is live with how you can help those struggling or get them the help that they need. Kelsey, good morning, and fill us in.
Hey, good morning. So no doubt many Hoosiers have struggled during this pandemic. And if you're struggling with childcare or putting food on your table and you don't have family who lives nearby, who do you turn to?
Who goes in the farm? The chickens? And who else?
Corey and Lauren Schneider's family got a little bigger this summer.
We're excited to have her in our lives for the rest of our lives.
Through Safe Families for Children, they've met Gabby, a spunky 2-year-old who lights up any room.
What does a cow say? Moo. Moo.
Gabby's mom doesn't have family who lives nearby and couldn't take care of her while she was on bed rest, and then delivered a baby boy who had to stay in the NICU for several weeks. So she reached out to Safe Families for help.
Safe Families is not just glorified babysitting. It's not, you know, let me call you up, come take my kid for a couple of days. It's much more than that. It's much deeper than that.
Schneider says they act as an extended family now for Gabby and her mom, there to help in times of need.
It's not about taking baby from mom because mom's not doing something right. It's about coming alongside mom, coming alongside baby, or 0 to 18, and saying, you know, we want to love on you, we want to care on you, we want to stand next to you during a hard time or during a time when you need help, and then we want to reunite your family together.
The Schneiders are what's called a host family with Safe Families for Children. But Lauren says if hosting isn't something you can do, she tells me there are dozens of ways you can help.
You can provide babysitting. You can provide rest care, what we call respite care. You can provide meals. You can provide food. You can provide cleaning services, really anything. You can be a family coach, so you can work with, if you like to work with adults more, you can work with those moms and dads who might need a little extra help.
Now, besides Gabby and her mom, the Schneiders have gained a community of folks they now know won't hesitate to help.
We didn't have anything, and our community has donated everything for us. You know, this experience has changed us, and even if Gabby doesn't remember us, which she might not, we will always remember her.
So Gabby is back now with her mom and her new baby brother. Once they got home from the hospital, Lauren did take her back over to her mom's house. And of course, if you need help with things like this, or it's on your heart to help, you can head over to WRTV.com for more information on how to get involved with Safe Families for Children. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much. The time now is 6:41 this morning. A new study reveals an eye-opening trend. According to the U.S. Labor Department, the COVID-19 recession is the most unequal in modern history. Research shows the pandemic has hit minority workers the hardest, making it difficult for them to regain their employment. WRTV talked with a woman who was laid off in May because of COVID-19. She says she's now getting back on her feet.
It's really tough. Yeah, as a Black woman, it's really tough for us to kind of get out there and find a job within, our career or maybe the salary range.
A Labor Department study shows only 34% of black men and 39% of black women have been reemployed. The study also shows that more than half of white Americans have gotten their jobs back. Hurricane Delta bringing wind and rain to Mexico and now inching closer to the U.S. coast. Coming up, the Hoosiers headed to help along the coast.
Yeah, we in Indy now, baby!
Yeah, that'll wake you up on a Thursday. Plus, Eddie Van Halen's death this week has Hoosiers remembering his concerts here. Ahead in Throwback Thursday, we're looking back at Van Halen's stops in the Circle City. And Todd, we've seen a jump in our forecast, temperatures anyway, this week. Thank you very much to you.
Yeah, we've been running well above normal. Not quite as warm as yesterday when we climbed all the way up into the 80s, but today we're going up into the mid to upper 70s. Your bus stop is nice and quiet this morning. 50 degrees as the kids come home. About 75 degrees will be your afternoon temperature. We'll talk more about today in detail and look ahead to Friday and the weekend as well, coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
So you need to know about this as you head out this morning as we take a live look at your morning commute. We're following, of course, this developing story on the city's northwest side. Monitoring this now for about a half hour or so. There was a vehicle fire here in this area. It appears that the fire is out, but you can see what it's caused, some major delays. There's, of course, the backups in the eastbound lanes. As you can see, traffic is also slow in the westbound lanes. So as you head out this morning, keep this in mind if this is part of your morning commute. Right now, Hurricane Delta is a Category 2 storm, and it's really gaining strength. This is a big storm. More than 6 million Americans from Texas to Mississippi are waking up under tropical alerts. States of emergencies have been declared ahead of the storm in Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi. Evacuations are now underway in parts of Louisiana and Alabama. This morning, officials have a simple message for those along the Gulf Coast.
Hurricane season has not went away. We still got about almost a couple of months before hurricane season is over with.
After a briefing on the hurricane, President Trump tweeted this: "Please be prepared, be careful, and be safe." This morning, Hoosier Help will be heading out to the Gulf Coast. Indiana Task Force 1 posting that they will leave later today and report to an undetermined location to help in the days following Delta's landfall. This is video from when the team deployed to help following Hurricane Sally. The team also helped following Hurricane Laura at the end of August. And Todd, you were mentioning that we've sort of lost track of the number of storms. I think this is Delta's number 26, and there still could be more since, right, hurricane season doesn't end for another couple more weeks?
Yeah, a couple more weeks of hurricane season, so definitely could be more storms out there. And it has been a very, very active hurricane season. Now, not all of them have impacted the United States. There are a lot of them that were out across the Atlantic and didn't make landfall anywhere. But yeah, this is the third one down there in the Gulf of Mexico in just the last couple months, with Laura being the first back at the end of August. 53 here in Indy this morning. It's nice and calm. No issues with the wind. Skies are clear. A beautiful start to our Thursday. Just need to have the light jacket as you get going. 45 in Tipton as well as Peru. 43 in Richmond. Bloomington currently at 50 degrees here this morning. Good morning to you down there in Monroe County, and 53 in Martinsville. So skies will be sunny throughout the entire day today. It's a sun-filled day. The wind not as much of an issue today as it was yesterday. Temperatures will be climbing through the 50s here at 10 a.m. We'll be into the mid to upper 60s by the noon hour. 68, by the way, is our normal high temperature for this time of year, and we'll hit that already by the noon hour. Then we'll continue to warm into the mid 70s later on this afternoon, making for a very pleasant afternoon and evening ahead. Your satellite radar picture is nice and quiet for us. We'll expand out, and there's really not a whole lot going on across the entire country, which is good news. We'll just have to, unfortunately, wait the landfall of Delta down here. It's in the Gulf of Mexico right now. It's probably going to make landfall late tomorrow into early Saturday here in the Gulf Coast. Category 2 storm right now, expected to strengthening to a Category 3 storm later on this afternoon. As far as our weather back home, this evening temperatures will fall from the 70s into the 60s under a mainly clear sky. Really nice and pleasant for us. And then as we go into the overnight hours, temperature is very similar tomorrow morning to what we're experiencing right now. We're in the 40s and 50s. tomorrow is a warm Friday for us, back up into the low 80s most likely during the afternoon hours. We should be able to hit that 80-degree threshold, I think, probably between the 2 and 4 o'clock time frame that you see here with the 279s with partly cloudy skies. And then this weekend, it's warm on Saturday. Saturday's the question mark in the forecast, though, as the remnants of Delta will move to our south. I think there's definitely a little more in the way of cloud cover the second half of Saturday. We may have to throw in a few spotty showers in southern locations. I think the better chance of some showers, though, will be on Sunday, then again on Monday and potentially Tuesday. Nothing ground-breaking or heavy rain heading our way. We could use a good old-fashioned soaking across the area. Simply not the case here Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday as the showers start to move in. But nonetheless, temperatures will be staying above normal at least through the middle of next week. Raphael.
So, Todd, I need you to know about this. A developing story continues to unfold on the city's northwest side as we continue to follow your morning commute. Already, I-465 and North Michigan Road, as you know, already a busy part of the commute every single day, but this is making matters worse. There was a fire in this area, and so right now the eastbound lane of 465 is blocked due to that earlier vehicle fire. It's also causing backups in the eastbound lane. So keep that in mind as you head out this morning. If you can find a way around this area of the city, please do so. Otherwise, you're going to be in for a long morning commute. So as you know, it's Thursday, and with the music, that means it's time to jump into the WRTV archives for Throwback Thursday. The death of Eddie Van Halen has a lot of people remembering the glory days of Van Halen. The band made its way to the Circle City several times back in the 1980s. In 1984, fans began lining up outside the historic Market Square Arena in downtown Indianapolis 3 days before tickets went on sale. Tickets sold out in just 2 hours, prompting a second show. That show also sold out, meaning more than 36,000 tickets were sold in just 8 hours. The band returned in 1986 and then again in 1988. Eddie's brother Alex said one of the band's unique aspects is their willingness to try anything.
We've tried anything from oboes to synthesizers to violins to cellos, you name it, any instrument. Look at the Beatles, one of the most prolific bands in the world, have tried all kinds of different orchestration. So we're not limiting to ourselves just to guitar.
Van Halen last stopped in Indianapolis while touring with David Lee Roth back in 2015. Hoosiers traveling to Chicago could face new coronavirus restrictions. That plus the day's top stories when Good Morning Indiana continues on this Thursday. At 6:64, we're keeping a close eye on this situation on the city's northwest side. It is bumper-to-bumper traffic in the area of I-465 and North Michigan Road, as you can see from those lights there. There was a vehicle fire in this area, and as you can see, it has blocked traffic, and it is causing a slowdown on the eastbound lanes. Usually already a very congested part of our city's morning commute. This morning, even worse. If you can find a way around this, please do so this morning. The time now is 6:54. Here's a look at the other stories that you need to know about before you head out the door. This morning, Indiana's COVID numbers are a cause for concern for Chicagoans. Health officials in the Windy City say they may add our state to its emergency travel order. That order requires people entering the city from COVID-19 hotspots to quarantine for 14 days. Officials say Indiana is now on a warning list, and Chicago residents are strongly advised not to travel to Indiana. Chicago adds a state to its emergency travel order if it averages more than 15 cases per 100,000 residents over a 7-day period. State health officials say an additional 400 schools have added their data to the school dashboard. Now nearly 1,800 schools are reporting their data to the system. Nearly 2,000 students have tested positive for COVID-19 in our state. As state health leaders say, of those cases, the highest percentage of students ranges in the ages of 10 to 19 years old. The state is continuing to work with schools to improve accuracy of this dashboard. An antibody treatment that Eli Lilly and Company is testing has shown to be effective in reducing levels of the virus that causes COVID-19. The company announced the results of a study on Wednesday. Lilly says the monoclonal antibody treatment appears to prevent patients from visiting the ER or hospital. The results are similar to the ones that Regeneron presented just last week. That Regeneron treatment was given to the president while he was being treated for COVID-19. And a new charter school is now open in Indianapolis. I believe Circle City High School is on Capitol Avenue near Fall Creek on the city's north side. Its educational model, it focuses on early college and career readiness. Every student is expected to graduate with an industry certification or an associate's degree. The goal is to give students a head start no matter what path they choose. The school's partnerships include Ivy Tech, the Kenzie Academy, and Marian University. Their next enrollment date starts on June the 30th. And as you head out, make sure you slow down at those school bus stop zones, Todd. But it's going to be a beautiful day here in central Indiana.
It is. Grab the sunglasses as you take to the roadways here this morning. Obviously, the sun not up yet, but it'll come up here within the next hour or so. 80 degrees tomorrow as well as Saturday. Saturday, a little more in the way of cloud cover. Then a little bit cooler, but still above normal Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday as some rain chances enter the forecast. However, we are not looking at any all-day rains. That is the good news, but we could use any rain we could get. October started off very, very dry here, but until those rain chances, enjoy the sunshine and the above normal temperatures today, tomorrow, and Saturday.
Todd, thank you, and welcome back to you again. We're back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic updates. And remember, all our news throughout the day can be found on the WRTV app. Thanks for watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day.